Hi guys, welcome to my channel Lush Foliage. I hope you guys are fine and are safe. So guys, if you remember, I said I'm going to be talking something about Tradescantia Nanouk. Now I won't be talking about the care requirements because the care requirements remains the same as what I have spoken about Tradescantias in general. But in this video, I'll be talking something interesting about Tradescantia Nanouk. So if you're wondering, in the thumbnail I have written you cannot propagate this plant, then why am I doing so? Now guys, this plant cannot be propagated to sell. So basically, if you are a company in US and you are purchasing this plant with the sole purpose of propagating and selling it, then this plant is strictly prohibited. Now I'm not quite sure in India. I have seen people are selling this plant. Probably this patent is not valid in India, but in US, when you purchase this plant, it comes with a tag, basically the care requirements of the plant, and along with that there is a tag which says propagation of this plant is strictly prohibited. So the reason behind this is because Tradescantia Nanouk is not a natural growing species. It was developed in the Netherlands in 2012 through a planned breeding program. So the person or the organization that developed this plant has the rights reserved with them. Now guys, why is this so? Is because it's not very easy to create these cultivars or these hybrids. It requires a lot of hard work, intense amount of research, a lot of money, a lot of time. Everything goes into it whenever they have to create something like this. There is a lot of hard work that goes into it. There is a lot of trial and error, and then finally they tend to happen to get a species or a new cultivar out of it. Now guys, I'm not very well versed with all this, but it was so interesting that I was trying to learn a little bit more about it, because I had never come across anything wherein plants can get patent. But I realized that there is something called as a plant breeder's right, wherein they can patent the plants, and it is also possible in India. So basically there is something called as intellectual property. Now IP is protected in law by, for example, patents, copyrights and trademarks. I'm sure a lot of us YouTubers are very aware about what exactly is copyright, because this is something which every YouTuber is afraid of. So with IP, what happens is it tends to enable people to earn recognition or a financial benefit from what they have invented or created. So basically over here, the organization or the person who created Tradescantia Nanouk would require some kind of recognition or possibly a financial benefit out of it, because definitely they have put in so much of hard work, so much of time, so much of money, because there is a lot of research that goes on. There is a lot of time. It's not that something that can happen within a month or so. It takes years and years of research, or years and years of time, and a lot of money, because these things happen in the lab. And again guys, it's not so easy whenever you're trying to register it under the plant breeders right. There are a lot of things that go into it. There is a lot of documentation. Again, there is a lot of formalities that tend to go, and it's not like you just pick up a plant and you go and you register it. There are a lot of things that are required to qualify for the plant to get into the patent category. Basically they will check if if the variety is new. They will check what is so distinct about that variety, what is so uniform about that variety, what is so unique, and apart from that, the most important thing, how stable the plant is. So basically whenever they tend to do a cultivar, they basically take two different plants, and they tend to cross pollinate it, or they tend to do something out of it with which they happen to get the new plant. So the plant has to be stable. Basically they will also check that once the plant has been created, it should not revert back to how the parent plant looks like, or it should not look like it's just a regular plant. There has to be a lot of unique characteristics present on that plant, and then it tends to get qualified. Now what I have noticed on this plant, I may be wrong, but what I have noticed is Tradescantia Nanouk has a very thick stem, and unlike other Tradescantias, they tend to trail down. They have a very thin stem. But what I've noticed in Tradescantia Nanouk is that they tend to grow vertically, and they have a very different type of stem. The stem is very thick. So probably I think this is why they tend to check all these stuff, because obviously if the Tradescantia Nanouk will also have a thin stem and it is going to fall or trail off, it doesn't make any sense. But then this also has a very different distinct look to it. It tends to grow vertically rather than horizontally. You might have seen the picture of my Tradescantia zebrina, how they tend to grow. They tend to fall down, they tend to trail downwards, but Tradescantia Nanouk tends to grow straight, so they tend to grow vertical. So I think that is one of the conditions that also tends to apply. There are a lot of other things, guys. These are just basic things that I've told you that comply, or they tend to focus or qualify. They need these certain things, but there are a lot more also. Again, that again takes a very long process of getting it registered and all that stuff. So as of now in US, this plant is patent. It was registered in 2017. So as per US, a patent lasts for 20 years. So this plant would be patent from 2017 until 2037. So whenever you purchase this plant, if you're a US citizen or if you are in US, if you're going to purchase this plant is going to come with the tag that propagation strictly prohibited. It might also have a TM sign on it, or a patent number also attached on the tag. TM is basically a trademark, so basically that says that this plant cannot be propagated to sell on a commercial level or on a larger scale. Now definitely that doesn't mean that you cannot propagate it. You can propagate it for yourself, you can gift it to your friend, but the whole idea is you cannot propagate the plant to sell it in US. And guys, there is another controversy as well with the Tradescantia Nanouk. A lot of people say that this tends to resemble a lot like Tradescantia lilac. Now I'm not very sure because I don't have Tradescantia lilac, but if you check the Google images, the plant tends to resemble a lot like Tradescantia Nanouk. Now guys, there is an entire article on Google. If you want, you can check it out. You can type Tradescantia Nanouk controversy and you will get an entire article, an entire write-up. It's very interesting to read, guys, because I personally did not know that plants can also be patent. I knew that certain articles like books, mobile phones, or certain designs, artwork, paintings can have this copyright or a patent or a trademark, but I never knew that plants can also fall under that category. But this was very interesting to know, so I thought I'm going to share it with you guys as well. So guys, I hope that you liked this video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep planting.